Hello, I'm Nancy Strickland, and this video demonstrates how you can add an external search capability to the built-in search that's part of Windows Explorer. Code's posted on my blog at blogs.itmentors.com/Nancy. Okay, let's get started. When I open Windows Explorer, I see up here in the upper right a search box, and right now it says Search Libraries. So if I type in a search term like groundhog, because as I'm recording this, today's Groundhog Day, there it is. There's a picture of Punxsutawney Phil. You see down here below my results that I can also choose to search the whole computer, or I can use custom to select what parts of the computer to search, or with Internet I can search the whole web using Bing, which is Microsoft's search engine. You see that if I click on it, it opens a browser to Bing with my search item already in there. You can extend this search feature by using what's called Federated Search to add a remote data source. That means that you can do a search from inside Windows Explorer, like I'm doing here, that searches a particular website but without opening a browser. To add a website to search, a user has to use a search connector, which is a small XML file. The extension is OSDX. The user gets that search connector by downloading it or by getting it emailed or in some other way. It's just a small file. And then the user just clicks on the OSDX file to install it. It's fast and it's easy and it's secure because no code is put on the client. Windows 7 doesn't perform the search, it just reads the OSDX XML file that tells it the URL of the search function of the site. Windows 7 then reads and displays the data that's returned by the site, which is in the form of an RSS feed or Atom feed, and it displays it here in the Windows Explorer, just like it displays a local search. As a developer, you might want to create an OSDX file for your website and then make it available to users who want to add your site to their search capabilities. As an enterprise developer, you might want to create an OSDX file for your internal enterprise site and then make it available to corporate users who need that search capability. I'm going to show you how to write one using a template and substituting specific values for a particular site. The site, of course, has to be queryable for this to work, and that means that it has to support a GET, not a POST, a GET URL query with embedded search terms. You could write the code on your site to do that GET search yourself, or you could use a public search engine like Bing, which already supports the open search specification, which is what's required, and then you could limit its results to just your own domain. Now, assuming your site has already got search capabilities, and MSDN has more help for you on this if you need it, then you can just use a template like the one I'm opening here in Notepad. You can see that the outer tags here, the open search description, that's standard. You don't have to change that. All I'll have to do is add a name, a description, and the appropriate search URL for that site. Now, to do this example, I'm going to use the Microsoft support site. That's a site that you often need to search, so it'd be handy to have a built-in search provider here. So I'm going to fill in a name, and of course this is my choice. This is what's going to show in my Windows Explorer so that I can choose to use this search, and a description. And then I have to fill in the appropriate URL. Now, you have to know what the correct format of the search URL is for the site that you're creating the connector for. And in my case, the first part of it is going to look like this. It's going to be search.live.com. I'm using the live search engine. The results ASPX, and the query here is followed by the search terms. Now, what I put in here is curly brace and then search terms and then close the curly, and that will be replaced by the user's actual search term when the search is executed. And then I need to add a little code that says when you search live.com, only search this site. So the site that I'm searching is support.microsoft.com, and then this is how you represent an ampersand. It's the HTML way, right, of representing the ampersand symbol, and then say that the format that's going to be returned is RSS. And that's it. Now I'm going to save this to my desktop, and instead of a text file, it's going to be an OSDX file, and I'll call it whatever I want. I'll call it MS Support. And this little file, this OSDX file, is the file that you're going to make available to your users. Maybe they can download it from your website if they want to add a search of your site, or you might want to distribute it to corporate users so they could search an enterprise site, and then you might distribute it in some other way. However the user gets the file, they just have to click it, and it's added to their search capabilities in Windows Explorer. So I'm going to go down here to the lower right to Show Desktop, and there it is. There's my OSDX file, and all I have to do is click it. And it asks me if I want to add this search connector, which of course I do. And immediately as soon as I've done it, I now have the search connector with the name I chose to give it, Microsoft Support, added to my favorites over here in Windows Explorer. So if I select that and then come over here and pick out a search term, let's say Azure, then it's going to do a search of support.microsoft.com for Azure, and there it has my search term highlighted and all my results from support.microsoft.com. It was easy to write, it was easy for the user to install, and it's very easy for the user to use. You can download a template like I used for writing the OSDX file, along with more details about what you can do from MSDN. Do a search of MSDN for the Search Provider Implementers Guide, because this is a very simple example and there's lots more you can do. But for now, I'm done. I've shown you how to write a search connector to extend your Windows Explorer search capabilities to a website in less than 7 minutes.